Yeah, it's raining. It's 43 degrees and raining. It's about 6:30 in the morning. It's the earliest I've been on the lake in quite a while. I'm kind of a mid-morning type of dude, just the way my schedule works out. But I'm gonna get out here, see what happens. It's not supposed to rain all day. I'll be able to break the cameras out in a little bit, get some footage. Good morning, folks. It's a beautiful morning. It's cold, like low 40s. It just quit raining, so I'm hoping it quits raining. We're gonna fish shallow. It's been about a week since I was over here last. Last time I was over here, the fish were up really shallow and they were biting that swim jig. If you haven't saw that video, go check it out. So I'm just trying to wake up. I'm gonna start covering some water shallow and see if these fish are still up there. If not, I'm gonna have to pull out and fish a little deeper. Maybe fish a shaky head or a jig or something out a little deeper. But we shall see. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like, share on Facebook, social media, and let's get after it, see what happens. Maybe they're biting the swim jig. I haven't really thrown it much. That's a good bite. Not much of a fish, but it's a way to start, I guess. Same deal, man. Got confidence in it right now. I got to pick it up and keep it in my hand. I'm just gonna kind of tell you what I'm doing here. This is how my mind's working right now. I went through these areas really shallow with the swim jig. I caught one, and I'm gonna go through some of this better looking stuff, and I'm gonna pull out deeper. You know, this is kind of a little bit of a deeper bank right here. I'm sitting in 10 foot of water, and I'm only about, I don't know, 15 yards from the bank. So I saw some fish working up in this area. They were kind of busting shad this morning, you know, about 30 minutes ago. So I'm gonna pull out a little bit and run through here with the shaky head. And that's kind of how I'm gonna approach today. I'm gonna go in shallow, and then if the area looks good, if it's got some rock, it looks like a place where they would spawn, and then pull back out and just sit on a drop or something, I'm gonna pull back out and work it slow if I don't get bit up shallow. This is kind of what I'm looking at right here. Got a little bluff there, got a little secondary point right here. It's a little bit deeper out off this flat. Got these little pockets right here. So we'll see what happens. Got to keep jumping around and experimenting. Little shaky head fish, but that was a good call. I mean, maybe that's what I need to do. I need to pull out here a little bit deeper. Like I said earlier, I already went through this area and didn't get bit, so decided to go back through it. You know, I was fishing shallow coming through the first time. This time I'm going to pull back out and fish a little deeper and see what happens. Drag something a little slower on the bottom. Just had a fish that was on a bed. I didn't see the bed, but it's about 4 foot deep. I was throwing that frog across there, and she just rolled up on it. Looked like a pretty good fish, so I just flipped this beaver back in there, and she didn't take it. Tell you what I'm kind of thinking is going on out here. I mean, I know these fish have spawned. There's several waves of spawners that come in. So I think last week there were some fish pushed up. We had some sunny days, and I'm sure they've dropped their eggs. Now I don't know if they're still around. I don't know if there's any fry garters yet. I don't think so. I think we're still maybe a week or so away from that. But I'm just hoping that there's still a few fish up shallow that I can pick off. I'm just going to try to cover water, keep my trolling motor on about 5, and just fish a little section and see what it feels like. If it feels like nothing's going on up shallow, then you might have to move out deep or just run around. It's always like, the decision is, do you want to stay with something shallow and just try multiple locations? Or do you go through an area shallow and then pull back out and go through it a little deeper? You kind of just pick an area apart, or do you run and gun? That's always what's going through your head when you're out here fishing, especially this time of year. These fish are they're up and down and all around. The water temperature is 56 degrees, so it's dropped a couple degrees, but not as much as I thought. So I'm just gonna keep my head down and cover some water and see if I get a feel for things. There we go. It's a nice fish on the swim jig. Didn't even feel that fish bite, it just got heavy. Fat fish, jeez. Just working this little cut on the opposite side of the lake from where I fished a while ago, just to look. There was another boat in here a while ago. He left and I came through here, but he was throwing something different, so that's a nice fish. There we go. Another nice swim jig fish. They're biting, man. You just got to cover a lot of water. That fish was back in like 2 foot of water. Been trying to hit, you know, like the places they would go to after their spawn, but I can't get bit out there, so I'm just gonna, I think I'm gonna stay shallow for a while. Just put my trolling motor on, cover some water, and see what happens. That fish came off another laydown, just like the rest of them. But same deal, that little 1/4 ounce moccasin jig. It's been working pretty good for me. You just never know where they're gonna come from. I mean, that fish was kind of a couple of laydowns in the outside of the grass there. That's where that fish was. And they're just loading up on it. It's a pretty cool bite. Little fish. The fish was right on that little laydown. As soon as it hit the water, she slammed it. Or he slammed it. Little male. Alright, made a little adjustment. Just out of curiosity. I know they're hitting the black and blue swim jig, but I wanted to try this white shad. I'm not sure what the name of it is. It's another moccasin. This is like a 3/8 ounce, so it's a little bit heavier, and I got a white menace on there. And I'm going to fish back through some of the same areas that I caught fish on the black and blue swim jig. See if I can get some kind of reaction out of this thing. I'm just curious to see if maybe a color change will generate a few more bites. So you want to stay about 20 feet off these trees before you skip. Get a nice little, just like skipping a rock. It's actually easier if you have like a 1/2 ounce jig. So if you're doing this for the first time, I'd recommend getting like a 1/2 ounce jig and put like a beaver on there. Something that's nice and flat. Something that doesn't have any kind of flippers on it. It's a whole lot easier to skip. So like you got these overhanging trees. The nice thing about this swim jig, it's round. If you had something flat, it'd be even better, but this will work. But what I'm just doing is just skipping it back up underneath those trees. Fish are really keying on this wood right now. Any of those little laydowns and stuff. Just run that swim jig. You could do it with the chatterbait too, probably. I'm just kind of digging this swim jig. Catching a few fish on the white. Just getting down to this stuff that I fished earlier. Let's see if I can pick up a few bites on a different color down through here. Well, I got a few bites on this, but let me go back to the other one.
Can't be far from in the weeds still.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I got no reason to leave.
Catch any good ones yet this year?
Not really. I haven't seen her, but not here.
Yeah.
About 4.5, probably the biggest ones I've caught here. Got a couple more hours of fish. Got about 1.5 hours to fish, actually. Just trying to figure out what these fish are doing. I think they're just in the funk. Like a lot of them spawned already. I'm just kind of in a funk right now. Just missed one, jerking down the grass, and she kind of rolled up on it. I didn't see her, but it felt like a decent fish. Who knows? Just working this grass. This water's a lot clearer. You know, you get out towards the main lake and the water really starts clearing up. Not sure how I feel about that yet. If I get a couple bites, I'll really like it. If I don't, I'll probably go back and fish some more of that dirty water. I don't know, there's some fish in this area. Lake's getting hammered pretty good though. There's a lot of boats out here today. Still fish is pretty big though. A lot of people ran out of here. Which might not have been a bad idea. Can't complain. Nice lay down there, just get that jig right up underneath there. Be nice if it loads up on me. Still have not seen any fish on beds. Another little peewee. It's kind of tough out here, man. It's kind of tough. Keep thinking, do I want to slide out and fish some deeper stuff, which I'm going to here in a minute, or just keep my head down and catch these little bitty guys. Caught a couple nice ones today, though. Nice fish. Same deal. It seems like all these fish are, most of these fish are on these points. Got a little bit of wood on these points, and I'm out of time. I wish I had a little more time. I think I could have just run this next little pocket and probably caught something. Another swim jig fish. They're on these points, guys. If you got a little piece of wood on these little secondary points, you're gonna get bit almost every one of those. A little wacky rig fish.
Pitching and flipping. See, you got frog on. Did you try it?
I had one push it.
Really? I thought I had the rod in the boat last night, and I'm like, no, because if I was by myself, it would have been in the boat.
Yeah. It's a nice fish. Let him go. 3-pounder. we go, folks. Another nice swim jig fish. Man, it was really tough out here today. Had to really slow down, and I don't know, these fish are just kind of in a little funk right now. So nice fish. But hey, appreciate you coming along with me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share it on social media, Facebook and all that. And until next time. Whew, had to work for that. Man, it's tough out here, guys. Next time. What that way?
5'6".
6. Nice.
Hey, real quick before I let you go, just wanted to do a little recap. I forgot to include the conditions of the water and the temp and all that. So the water's really cleared up over there. Back in the no wake, about halfway back towards the boat ramp, Johnson Creek boat ramp, it's probably about 1.5 foot visibility. As you make your way towards the mouth of the no wake, it's closer to 2 foot. And then if you go out of the no wake, you can go right towards the Party Cove and then cut back down to the main lake. It's significantly clearer, probably 3 foot visibility or so. The grass is starting to grow up. As you get out of the no wake, right before you go into the main lake, you start to see some grass growing up on some of the flatter stuff, the shallow pockets. So that's looking good. The water temps started out in the morning, it was 56, and I saw 62 right at the end of the day. Air temps today are 62, and it was like 45-ish in the morning. There really wasn't any wind today. I mean, there was just a mild breeze. The fish were still being caught shallow. Everything I caught was like 5 foot of water or less. I talked to several people today. I know there were a couple 5s that were caught, and those fish were all caught shallow as well. It just seemed to be a wood deal. Seemed to be on the wood today. So some of these fish still had some eggs in them. Some of them looked like they were spawned out. I caught one that was kind of long and skinny. Looked like it dumped its eggs. It could have been a male too, I don't know. But there's definitely a wave that came in, I believe, last week. And the next wave should probably be the new moon of this month. It's April, and then I guess the full moon of May. You know, we still got a month of good fishing ahead of us. But I never threw a chatterbait today. That's still playing. The chatterbait, the spinnerbait, swim jig, crankbait, all that stuff. I know some people caught a few top water fish today I was talking to. So it's starting to get really wide open. I fished out deep, not deep, but 15 foot off some points and stuff with shaky head. And I had a couple good bites. I just didn't hook up with them. I had one roll up on a frog today. Like I said earlier, I know somebody caught one on a buzzbait that I was talking to, but it's not consistent. Right now, your most consistent pattern is just stick with that. Square bill, swim bait, chatterbait, spinnerbait, probably. Just cover water. Just key in on the wood. Just cover some water. Hey, I hope this helps if you guys are getting out there in the lake. It's beautiful out there. This is the best time of the year. The fish are up shallow. They're still pretty aggressive. You know, there was a lot of pressure out there today. There were, geez, when I got there, there was probably already 15-20 boats in the water, and when I left, that parking lot was full. There were people parking all the way in the grass. You can see on this clip right here, they were actually backed up into the grass, the trailers into the grass. So that parking lot was pretty full. Lots of boats on the water. That means the fish are biting. So hey, subscribe, please. Share it on Facebook. Leave comments, man. If you got any questions about anything, leave some comments. Let me know what's on your mind. Appreciate all the support, and until next time.